Ceiling. Our bathroom has a spot with no roof or ceiling, and then our daughter's room, the ceiling is almost completely gone and more is about to cave in.
Lofstrom says they have water damage due to the rain too. For now, they say they will be staying in a camper on the property.
I'm a stay-at-home mom and he's one that's normally working, so it sets us back really hard with financial and everything.
But they're glad that they have a strong support system to help them through. Jillian Trudeau, Valley News Live.
Lofstrom has a GoFundMe set up to help her family get into a new trailer. You can find a link to that on our website, valleynewslive.com. And Detroit Lakes wasn't the only area hit. The roofs blew off two Otter Tail, Minnesota businesses last night, Carr's Tree Service and the Otter Lodge. Resort officials say guests in 10 of the rooms at the lodge had to be evacuated in the middle of the night because of the damage. But they say no one was injured and refunds have already been handed out.
You know, it's scary for everyone in this area. You know, it feels like it's every other week we're having some sort of traumatic weather experience.
Has certainly been busy. As for the cleanup all across Lake Country, Carr's Tree Service says the job likely won't be done until the end of the summer just because of the sheer volume of properties impacted. We'll be getting a number of your photos as well. Take a look at this one here. This is a big piece of turf and tree that's been kind of torn up there. You see water beneath it. Lots of pictures on our website, lots of trees down. Great photos sent in by viewers like you. Go to valleynewslive.com, click on the upload photos and videos button on our homepage, and you can submit photos of your own. And thank you to all the viewers who have sent in material so far. As for what Mother Nature has in store for us next, let's send things over to First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson for details. Hutch.
Well, I got to tell you, things are much quieter tonight, and I think we're all appreciative of that. And some of us got some beneficial rain after that triple-digit heat over the weekend, but it came with some terrible winds and damage as well. Take a look at what we had this storm with wind speeds recorded by instrumentation at over 90 miles per hour in Mallory, and as we look off to Verndale, 83 miles per hour, Goodrich 71. Now, as we take a look at a photo shared here, Becky, this is the before with the baby picture and a creative look after the storms. What happened there? Here's a look at rainfall totals between 1 and 2 inches for many on the list here. As we take a look, Monaga 1.44 inches, Bagley picking up a good amount, as well as the Fargo-Moorhead area ranging from around a half of an inch in the southern and eastern part of town to over an inch in other parts of the metro. Radar estimates of rainfall, anywhere you see the yellows here or oranges, is 1 to 3 inches of rain estimated across the area. Tonight, sprinkles are exiting. Things are very quiet. The temperatures are very comfortable. We're a little bit cooler up to the north with some low 60s there. 70s down to the south. The wind, it's starting to taper off, and that's a good sign for a wonderful Wednesday. I'll have details on that coming up here in a moment. Justin?
All right, thanks, Hutch. A power outage this morning left thousands of people without power again. Cass County Electric Cooperative reported more than 5,000 customers in the West Fargo area had lost power after a failed piece of equipment at a substation. It's the third major outage in that area in as many days. More than 800 customers in the Oxbow, Hickson, and Kindred areas lost power in last night's storms. The day before that, Cass County Electric says extreme heat was to blame for more than 2,000 power outages, same area. Operators of the electric grid in Moorhead are now announcing an elevated risk of electricity shortages in the area because of the above average temperatures. Say the shortages will likely be due to the cause people to reduce energy use at their homes. There are a few things you can do to help. You can turn your thermostat up a few degrees. That helps, keep your AC from blasting all the time. Keep your blinds shut to keep your home cooler. Shut off all unnecessary lights and equipment and delay appliance usage until later in the evening. In the event of an energy emergency, your grid manager will initiate a controlled outage, trying to maintain stability of the grid. So be in contact with your energy provider to be notified of these types of temporary outages. One man is dead, a woman hurt after a tree fell on their camper. The Douglas County Sheriff's Department says they were called around midnight to a camper near Alexandria after the bout of significant storms rolled through. The woman was taken to a hospital. Her condition is unknown. Meanwhile, new developments tonight for Fargo Public Schools. After more than 10 hours in executive session tonight, the Fargo School Board has finally announced they are sticking with their decision to fire Kevin Kennedy for cause. The school district received a complaint about Kennedy back in March, saying he had crossed boundaries with students and created an uncomfortable learning environment. The board was in executive session again for about 10 hours today before unanimously agreeing on the decision to discharge him. We asked one of the board members why it took so long, but they couldn't tell us. They say it was all discussed in executive session. New information out of South Dakota, where the South Dakota Senate has now convicted Attorney General Jason Ravensburg of an impeachment trial about a 2020 car crash where he killed a pedestrian. When it happened, Ravensburg told a 911 dispatcher he thought he struck a deer or some other large animal. Says he didn't know he struck a person until he returned to the scene the next morning. 55-year-old Joseph Bover died in that crash. Criminal investigators say they didn't believe some of Ravensburg's statements about the incident. The convictions triggered immediate removal from office. He is also barred from holding future office. There are high expectations for a big change coming soon to some stores in Minnesota. The stores will soon be able to sell snacks and drinks with THC. But as Jonah Kaplan explains, this is not an automatic green light to legalize pot in the state.
On July 1st, Minnesota for the first time will regulate the sale and substance of food and beverages made from extracts of hemp, a much less intense but still potent cousin of marijuana.
I want to do the crunchy bars. These are good.
Mason Alt's Retro Bakery, already in production and eager to meet the new law's standards, including child-proof packaging and a barcode to check important information about ingredients and lab testing. The amount of THC limited to just 5 milligrams per serving, no more than 50 milligrams per package.
This is a really good middle ground for all those people who are like, I think I could benefit from this plant or from THC, but now, but it's illegal, you know, and I have morals.
Before we move on, let's get one thing clear. This shirt, this story, total coincidence. What's not a coincidence, though, this color, this crop, it is a cash crop. According to the U.S. government, industrial hemp worth $824 million in 2021. And in Minnesota, more than 2,600 acres are devoted to growing hemp. That's the fifth most in the country. Senate Republicans this year blocking a bill to legalize pot in Minnesota, but experts telling us this new law more about consumer protections than a prelude to anything else.
Before this law was passed, these products were already being consumed and sold in Minnesota, many of them from out-of-state businesses. So this will now provide the guidance, the Board of Pharmacy, to enforce these consumer protection.
If the legislature were to take further action on hemp or pot this year, it would need to be done in special session, making it more likely to come up as an issue sometime next year. New tonight, if you're planning to fly out of Hector International Airport in Fargo this summer, airport officials say you should get there at least 2 hours early. The airport's seeing delays in security lines associated with the new 3D scanners they're installing. Now, the installation itself isn't scheduled till July 5th through the 22nd, but Airport Executive Director Sean Doberstein says the delays are already starting because the existing checkpoint's been altered to make room for the contractors. Meanwhile, across the state, a trust linked to billionaire Bill Gates has recently acquired 6 parcels of land worth over $13 million in Pembina County, North Dakota. Why? We don't know. Residents near the area are critical, though, saying that North Dakota is being exploited by the ultra-rich who do not share the state's values. Of course, anyone can buy land. You can read more about the story on the free VNL News app. Changes are coming to 2 area taco spots. Moe's Southwest Grill on Kirsten Lane in South Fargo, now closed. No word when, whether that's a permanent thing, but there is a closed sign on the door. Meanwhile, the taco shop on Broadway downtown is for sale. According to the Realty listing, the business and signage is not being sold, though the building itself is. The other taco shop locations on University do not appear to be impacted. The number of drownings in Minnesota are going up so far this year, and authorities ask that you take some extra precautions to keep yourself and your family safe. Kirsten Mitchell reports on one family who lost their 19-year-old son on Father's Day.
Lance Shear always made people smile, from playing with his nieces to fishing and hunting trips. The 19-year-old's family sharing a glimpse into the life of a beloved son, brother, and uncle that was cut short on Father's Day. The Renville County Sheriff's Office says he was swimming without a life jacket in the Minnesota River with family when he began to struggle and went under. A short distance away that same day, authorities say they found the body of a 48-year-old Wilmer man, Matthew Robleski, in what they believe was a log jam.
Last year had the highest number of non-boating drownings in more than a decade. As more people headed out on lakes and rivers during the pandemic, the DNR says drownings went up too. 53 people died last year, just 35 died 2 years earlier.
Authorities across the state urge anyone heading out on our lakes and rivers this summer to be mindful of the ever-changing conditions and wear a life jacket.
If you go out, use caution, go out with a buddy, and just be safe.
And all this comes as water is still high in many areas because of recent rain. The Polk County Sheriff's Office just issued a warning this afternoon that if you do operate a boat or personal watercraft on Polk County lakes, to be mindful of the high water.